Are you doing this work to facilitate growth or to become famous? Which is more important, getting or letting go?
Okay, so it's a must that we explore the one thing that everybody seems to fear, the one thing that's inevitable and none of us can escape it, no matter what kind of earthly existence we live. Nobody's going to escape death. Yet everybody fears death. And, it's kind of funny and it's kind of silly when you really think about it. Like, what's the point of being scared of something so natural? The one thing that we all got in common. Shit. And that's the one thing I feel like, we grab on to a bunch of shit just to avoid the fact that we in between life and death every second of the day. Every second of the day, you right in between. I actually think by being conscious of that shit, it bring you to a point where you can appreciate life more. Because a lot of times you can get, real down about life. You could get real anxious about life. But if you just had that little reminder that it's nothing to be anxious about, it's nothing to be depressed about, you're right in between one existence and another existence. An existence that you're used to, and an existence that you don't have the recollection to remember having before, which is death. Because I feel like, and I know to a certain degree, that death is nothing more than transformation. So it goes from being in one existence to another existence. And I feel like we duck that shit on a day-to-day anyway. Like, none of us like change. Nobody wants to come up out of their comfort zone. Period. A lot of times we got to be, pulled and pushed out of our comfort zone by circumstances and shit like that. This is something I still experience on a day-to-day basis. When life gets stale and life get bored, your routines get old, every day start to seem like the same day and shit like that. And life just start to show you that it's time for a new existence. It's time for you to move on. You've done all you can in this way of being, and now it's time to just gracefully submit to a new existence. Because you do got to submit, and you do have to surrender to be open to a new way of existing. The hard part is, saying goodbye to the old existence. And we hang around as long as we can, you feel me? Hang around as long as we can as our old selves and shit, to the point where we might allow the new version of us to fall victim to our old way of living. It's like a grown adult spending all their time playing with toys and doing things that they should have had given up 20 years ago. And I feel like that's what, society has become. I feel like that's what the culture has become. And I feel like that's what socially we are engineered to just be like that. Give up one toy for another toy, but remain in the same existence. Remain in that same repetitive chase. A chase for something to distract you, a chase for something to keep your attention away from the inevitable. Whether we call that death or we call that change, they both one and the same. And I'm speaking about this at a time where I'm dying. I'm literally dying to one level of my existence, one version of my existence, which looking at it, I felt like it served me pretty well. feel like nothing is wrong with it. I feel like it is a positive existence. Nonetheless, it is not cohesive. It is no longer, really feeding me in the way that it did before. So, you find yourself on the island. You find yourself in the waiting room, so to speak, for this new version to come along. And I really just feel like that's all death is. That's it. It's as simple as that. I feel like we fear it because it's unknown, because we don't know it. We, as humans, we hate the unknown. We don't fuck with it. We really run from that shit. You know what I'm saying? So as I sit here between one existence and an unknown existence, the one thing that I find satisfying about death, about change, is just having the ability and having the consciousness to say, fuck it, I'm gonna be present while I die. I'm gonna experience death second by second, minute by minute, and be present and watch the beauty of the transformation. And I feel like if we strive for that shit, then what we call death, dying from this body and moving into another existence, people have all of these claims of, what it is and what it might be, but nobody knows what it's going to be for you. So it's something that we'll have to experience for ourselves, right? But the key is to do it consciously. The key is to die as much as you can. And try your best not to fight it. Try your best not to resist it once you see the symptoms of the death and the change taking shape. So, it's a lot of things you give up and it's just no longer got that same glitter to it. You know what I'm saying? I just was telling this to a younger person that, I was telling them, don't really fuck with nothing you ain't really excited about, because you might be taking up space where somebody else could go do that same thing, and it might excite them. It might give them life for a while. It might make this death, this thing we doing, because we living but and dying at the same time. So it could make this existence, this long transformation we call life, it could make it a bit more worth a person's while if they doing things that excite them. So I was just telling this person, like, yo, try to find your mark, and hit your mark. Try to stay away from things that you know for a fact you really don't fuck with, like that your heart ain't in, that your mind ain't in, and that your soul and your spirit is not in. I think that's the best possible life we could live. That's the best possible death we could live. Fuck with the shit while it's there. Fuck with it while it's there. Because hell is realizing the truth too late. I forgot who quoted that. Forgot who quote that is. That's a hell of a quote. Hell is being like, God damn, looking back and saying, I should have appreciated that. I should have been more present with that. I think this is the realization most people on their deathbed have, most especially seniors or anybody that's close to death, and they right in between, and then they finally came to the realization of, oh shit, I'm not going to exist in this way anymore. I think they look back and just wish, damn, I wish I would have been more present. Fuck. Wish I would have been there for this person. I wish I would have been there for myself. I wish I would have enjoyed my food more. I wish I would have enjoyed my travels from one space to the other instead of just numbing myself or stimulating myself and missing the whole, in between thing of life. Missing the whole transformation. And furthermore, fearing the whole transformation, the inevitable, fearing the inevitable, fearing the unknown just because it's unknown, just because we don't know what it is. That's a hellish existence to live in. Following orders, buying into another person's way of thinking, way of being, way of living, whether it's the government, society, your mom, your dad, whatever, buying into that shit because it's already kind of tried and tested and it worked for somebody else, it worked for them. But then it leave the unknown untouched, untapped. And this is what we talk about when we talk about breaking generational curses. We're talking about doing shit that nobody in your family ever did. Facing the unknown. Not just taking the tradition that's passed down to you. Not just taking the, whatever that way of, that was pushed upon you. Saying, fuck that. I'll find my way and I'll find a way to exist and coexist in this world that's more true to me. So that when I'm on my deathbed, and we're always on our deathbed, that's the thing. We're always on our deathbed. We right in between this shit at all times. So it's a slap in the face to life and death, right? To just be a replica of somebody else and shit. To just, repeat and just reenact the lifestyle of somebody else, the way of thinking of somebody else. It's a slap in the face. When we should just embrace the death. Embrace death. That's it.